Sometimes letting it out can make a big difference.
Oh yes.
And sometimes you gotta let your heart speak.
You gotta let your heart speak. You gotta let it out. No matter what you're going through. Yeah. I know how you feel. I know it's hard to reveal. But let your heart speak. Sex, they say no. Yes, Joe, love knows. Joe, the pain goes, love knows. It's Joe, Joe, the pain goes, love knows. Yeah.
A marriage built on trust survives even the worst of storms. But what if this trust is failed by someone who wants to destroy your marriage? What happens if your spouse starts to believe someone else more than he believes you? Will you fight in your marriage, or will you fight for your marriage? This is the story of Cathy, as she shares with us her longing for justice and her longing for her husband to be back in her arms again. Hi, I'm Joe the Mango. Welcome to another episode of Love Notes. Dear Joe, just call me Cathy. I'm currently working as an HRD staff in one of the Taiwanese firms in the Light and Industry Science Park in Cabuyao, Laguna. I'm married and 3 months pregnant, and I could not ask for anything more until 6 months ago when my life completely turned upside down. My boyfriend, who is my husband now, Joram, was so loving and caring. He's the kind of guy every girl would dream to have as a partner in life. I know for a fact that he loved me so much, and that alone made me so complete, so happy, and so contented. Everybody who knew us were and are still wondering why Joram fell in love with me. Joe, you see, I'm not beautiful. I'm not even close to pretty. I'm so plain and nobody ever gives me a second look. Joram and I met each other in one of the seminars I attended for self-improvement. Because of my physical appearance, I have developed an inferiority complex, which made it so hard for me to relate to people. Through the seminar and with the help of Joram, I eventually came out of the shell. The 2-day seminar finally came to an end, but the communication between us did not end. He was always calling me at home, at work, monitoring the progress of my career. He had always made me feel good about myself. Somewhere along the way, Joe, he fell in love with me. When he told me what his true feelings for me were, I was shocked. It was the very thing I was preventing from happening. Although I wanted to have a boyfriend, I did not want the guy to be him. What if I accept his proposal and fall deeply in love with him, and then he realizes that what he was feeling for me was merely pity? He did not force me to accept. Instead, he gave me space and time to think it over. Yet all the while, he showered me with so much love and affection. After 1 year, Joe, he became my boyfriend. The fear that I might lose him someday completely disappeared because he did everything to show me that he truly loves me. Joram is very handsome. And Maricel, one of his co-employees, had determinedly set her eyes and heart on him. She made schemes to get Joram for herself. She even called me several times telling me that I should free Joram and not make his life miserable. I just laughed at all of these, for I was so secure and so sure of Joram's love for me. I did not tell him all the things Maricel was doing to me because I thought there was no need. Besides, Joram admired Maricel's religiousness. I did not want him to see her differently and detest her. Maricel really looked for a way to destroy our beautiful relationship. She told Joram stories about me and some guy who I knew never existed at all. He confronted me all right, but he had already closed his mind for whatever reason I would give him. He started to look for mistakes that I made. He became suspicious that I was seeing somebody behind his back, especially now that I became cold to him, which was a reaction brought about by the way he was treating me. Joe, I knew, and I still know deep in my heart, that he loves me so much because he couldn't let me go. He's still afraid to lose me. And because of that, I did not force him to give me my freedom. Joram finally decided to marry me. But the cold treatment continued. He tells me that he married me so that his friends won't laugh at him because his girl cheated on him. Joe, he treats me well, especially in the presence of my parents. But when I react differently in front of other people, it would call for a fight the minute we are by ourselves. Now that I'm pregnant, I can still feel that he cares for me, but only for a few moments, because after showing his concern, he would tell me that he's only doing that so that the baby in my womb wouldn't be affected. Joe, am I only dreaming when I think that he still loves me in spite of what's going on between us? I am thinking that maybe he's just embarrassed to admit that he really still loves me. Is my hunch true, or am I just being wishful? By the way, up to now, he still doesn't know what Maricel did to me. I don't want to tell him because I don't want him to think that I just want to get even with the girl he thinks is God-fearing and straight. Joe, do I have to continue our charade, or should I leave him so that we can think things over apart from each other? Please help me, Joe, and tell me that there is still hope for us. I'm afraid that I have already lost him and that I may never find him in my arms again. Sometimes I blame myself for looking and being this way. Maybe he really doesn't deserve me. Thank you, Joe, for listening. Hoping to hear from you. Sincerely yours, Cathy. Cathy, now that you have already made your lifetime vows, it would be, I guess, cynical to think that he must have married you for the wrong reason. We should marry someone because we love that person and not because we want to cover up and save our faces. Marriage isn't a commitment that we can cancel anytime because we cannot handle it anymore. Cathy, in any relationship, there would sometimes come a point when another person would jump into our backyard, turn things around, confuse us, and lead us to make hasty and unfair judgment. Maricel only wanted one thing, and that was to destroy your relationship. She has done a good job in making Joram believe her in more than he should believe in you. Cathy, now that you have made your lifetime vows, it would be cynical to even think that Joram married you for the wrong reason. We should marry someone because we love that person and not because we want to cover up and save our faces. Marriage isn't a commitment that we can cancel anytime because we cannot handle it anymore. Cathy, in any relationship, there would come a time when another person would jump over into our backyard, turn things around, confuse us, and lead us to make hasty decisions and unfair judgment. Maricel only wanted one thing, and that was to destroy your relationship. She has done a good job in making Joram believe in her more than he should believe in you. But you shouldn't let this pass without a fight. If you leave him now, you will be feeding coal into the fire and give up your chance of saving your marriage. Don't give up your husband because some other woman wants him for herself. Being cold to Joram would just aggravate the tension that is building up between the two of you. You are both pushing each other farther apart. If you don't stop and talk about this, then you may drift so far away from each other and hopelessly obscure the path to reconciliation. Cathy, you cannot play charades with Joram forever. You have to face your own fears and deal with them as sensible adults. Joram cannot read your mind. Every healthy marriage is built on the foundation of honesty and trust. You have to tell him what you feel. I believe that both of you should find time to talk peacefully about this crisis in your marriage. There are no other people who can help you but yourselves. Tell him about Marisol, even if he wouldn't want to believe. And pray that his love for you will help clear the clouds of doubt in his mind. Trust is important in any relationship. Without this, there is no foothold with which you can build the foundations of a lasting marriage. Cathy, there is always hope, no matter how painful and hopeless life may seem to be. There will always be a reason to love, even if we lose the purpose to believe in its existence. There will always be a reason to believe, even if we cannot see what lies ahead. And there will always be a reason to be joyful, even in the saddest moments of our life. There will be times when we feel like it's better to just let our marriage be. But we need to make a stand and fight for the people we love. We must not allow anyone or anything to break the covenant relationship we have vowed before God, to love and to hold our spouse, regardless of the circumstances that surround us. Cathy, I pray that God will give you the grace to remain strong and steadfast for Joram. And this challenge in your marriage will not break you. It will not tear you apart, but rather grow you stronger in your love and commitment to each other. I pray that Joram will see the truth behind the lies and fight for you, his baby, and your family at all cost. Cathy, in the end, love and truth will prevail. Don't be sorry for the way you are. Remember, your beauty and your worth and your value, they're all measured not by what is seen by the eyes, but by the good that dwells in your heart. God bless you in your marriage, and thank you all for joining us once again. We'll see you again Tuesday night here on Dear Joe TV.